Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Maverick Mindset Radio Show. I'm Adam Williams.
And I'm Ashley Muckenhot.
And this is the radio show for the dreamers and doers. It's for those who are willing to step into the arena.
Some call us the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers.
We don't accept the status quo. We leave the world better than we find it.
We approach each day with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind. We maintain irrational optimism about the future.
This is the Maverick Mindset Radio Show, brought to you by me, Adam Williams, until I get fired.
Oh, I swear. You're pushing it. It's
today
2
was,
weeks now in a row.
I don't know what's going on.
Get yourself together.
Didn't
we talk about time management last week?
Yeah. And I don't know what it is that's changed about my morning schedule, but I'm cutting it close.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a good show, though. Let me pull up some more notes here. So, what are we talking about today?
It's show 27. It's separation season.
Yeah. Oh
Yep.
my gosh, this is going to be so good.
Yeah, when most people are thinking about their stockings, like me, successful people are planning for the future.
I'm excited about this one. So we're a little bit early with this,
Yeah.
as far as the live show, because as we record this, it's September 25th.
Yeah.
So we're live right now, September 25th. But the timing is actually perfect because I'm gonna teach something today that you could implement today.
Yeah.
Or you can wait until it's actually separation season, which we should probably talk about what that actually
Yeah.
is.
We'll get into what's actual separation season.
Yeah. So here's the thing. There is a period of the year where most people are just coasting.
Yeah.
Like they're just waiting for January 2nd.
Yeah.
And that starts like mid-November.
Yeah.
And that's separation season.
Like they give up and thinking, all right, I don't have to really start again till
Well,
New Year.
yeah. Well, Thanksgiving's coming up, so you sort of start getting in the holiday spirit. And
People are planning vacations, right?
I don't know what they're doing because I'm not associating with those people.
Right.
That's the point. That's
Adam's
the
like,
whole
I
point
don't
of this
know.
show is I don't know. They're doing nothing
Yeah.
for the most part. Now, yeah, you want to spend time with your family and do all that stuff, but when it comes to improving yourself, improving your business, improving your life, that is the best season of the year to do it because no one else is focused on it at that point. So you get to mid-November, you're looking forward to Thanksgiving, and then that week of Thanksgiving, well, you got Thursday and Friday off, and Wednesday's maybe a travel day, so then you really only got Monday and Tuesday. You're going to do nothing that week. And then you show up the following Monday, maybe you took a trip, maybe you get back Tuesday, and then it's like, well, it's almost December, and December means like every Friday night it's going to be
A Christmas
wine and
party.
cheese at some Christmas party, and then we're gonna cruise into the Christmas season, and there's that dead space between Christmas and New Year's, but there's also like the 4 or 5 days before that where you're just kind of moseying along. That's the period of time. That is the time of the year where I am dominating.
Yeah.
That is where I am separating myself from everyone else.
Yep.
And I love having this conversation with people because like, well, it's the holidays and you're not supposed to work that hard. I'm not working on the holidays. I'm working on the days where you're sitting around thinking about the holidays, right? December 13th is nothing.
Right.
But for you, it's a day that we're kind of cruising and what color is the wrapping paper gonna be? And look at the kids' arts and crafts that they're making at school. But this is kind of an epiphany that I had maybe in the last year, maybe less than that. But I was walking through the woods as I tend to do.
Yep.
And I had two words pop into my head. And they've really given me a lot of guidance since then. And the two words are vision and momentum. And what I realized is that's my role in our business.
Yeah.
That's my role in my life, in my family, that I help create the vision.
Yes.
And then build momentum towards it.
Yes.
And this is not just limited to business, but of course on this show we talk a lot about business. That in the business, I've got a picture of where I want things to be, what I want the business to look like, what kind of money we want to make. We've talked about goal setting on this show. So you have that vision, and it's my job as the leader to create as much momentum towards that vision as possible. And what happens for a lot of business owners is they get zero momentum.
Yeah.
Because everything is relying on them to push it along. So the moment
They
they
get
take
exhaustion.
the moment they take their foot off the gas, everything stops.
Yeah.
Like it just comes to a complete halt. So this is a great time of the year if you don't have a clear vision to work on it. And as we get into separation season, that's when you build the momentum.
Yeah.
So we are going to hit 2025 with incredible momentum. In fact, I was I don't know if I would call it an interview, but I was talking to a candidate yesterday to work for us, and I was explaining, our goal for the end of the year and then our goal for the end of 2025. And it's been written on my whiteboard for months. So I got to lean back from my Zoom camera and say, oh yeah, these are the numbers. And yesterday was the first time where I looked at December 21st, 2025, so next year, and said, oh, we're going to crush that.
Yeah.
Like there's not even a doubt in my mind now, right? So now I got to, because we built so much momentum towards it.
And how many people actually have December of 2025 up on in their vision, right? Who's thinking about that?
You know what? That's a really good question. Let's talk about that. Since we're talking about vision. A lot of people have stuff like that on their vision board.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm going to manifest it. No, you're not. No, you're not. The reason it's on my board is because I have a plan to get there.
Right.
I'm not going to manifest it. I'm going to create it.
Yeah.
Right? You have to have a plan in place, and you have to put in the work in order to get there.
We always go back to there's action involved.
Yeah, totally.
Yep.
So yeah, I think a lot of people have stuff like that. And I'm guilty of this too, right? Like one of my goals for this year was to have 10,000 Instagram or TikTok followers. And about halfway through the year, I really slowed down my posting. Right. Well, my follower count really slowed down, right? But I still have that image on my vision board.
Yeah.
But, I wanted a different car. It's not out yet, but I got the deposit down on it, and it just happened to be in the same color that's on the vision board, right? We wanted the business to be at a certain level. It's been there with certain trips we want to take, but all of those things required work, right?
Right.
Putting the Bora Bora overwater bungalow on the vision board didn't get me on a plane in Bora Bora, right? I had to have a plan and a bunch of money to make that happen, but I had to have a plan to get the money.
So the things you're saying that you're putting on your board, they're things that you want and things that you have goals to achieve, but you actually have to just don't be slapping things on the board, right? You need to have a plan of how you're going to get.
Or if you did slap things on the board, it's not too late, right? And I think at this point of the year, a lot of people give themselves excuses and say, well, I haven't done it yet, and there's no time left. Well, there isn't time left, but there's also plenty of time to get a whole lot done, right?
Yeah.
So this is what I'm talking about with separation season. This is where other people, if you wrote down your goals back in January, wasn't that our first show? Wasn't our first episode on goal setting? That was a really good one. Go back and look at your notes from that show. And maybe you did some of this stuff, but I bet there's a whole lot of it that you didn't do. Let's do the math. It's Wednesday, September 25th, right? As we record this. And I'm going to look at my calendar. When is October 1st? It's next Tuesday.
That's my birthday.
Your birthday's on Tuesday?
Yeah.
Chrissy, if you're listening, help.
No, it's on
All
my...
right, somebody... All right, Ashley's...
I'm so excited. I'm going to Atlanta for the weekend before my
Your birthday is October 1st?
Yeah. Start the month out.
Is this... How many birthdays have we celebrated together? Would this be number 4?
I think this is number 4.
21, 22, 23, 24. Yeah, this would be 4.
Yes.
All right, good.
Yep.
Did I remember the other years?
Yes.
Okay, good. Well, somebody
And
did.
if you didn't, Jackie did.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's a team effort.
Yes.
All right. So October 1st is next Tuesday.
Yes.
If you're listening to this live, you've got 6 days and you've got a weekend in there. That's why this is perfect timing.
Yep.
You can spend time over the next 6 days thinking about the fourth quarter, right? The fourth quarter starts on Tuesday. For me, 2025 starts on Tuesday because that's what we're building momentum towards.
Yes.
So, but here's the scary thing. Last quarter of the year, it's 90 days.
Yeah.
Well, if you're a typical average normal American, you've only got 60 business days. On average, you got 20 working days a month, Monday through Friday, right? you only have 60 working days left. Now, if you're working 6 or 7 days a week,
You got more.
great. You're gonna build even more momentum. I do recommend you get some time off there after this intense sprint. But so yeah, you've got plenty of time to do a whole lot, but on the other hand, you have no time.
Right.
So I would really encourage people to spend some time thinking about where you could be 90 days from now if you just executed for the next 90 days.
Ooh, great wording, because I was trying really hard to find a quote for today, and it's hard because a lot of people think this is the time of year that you rest. So I'm like, gosh, what do I find? But I found one, and it said, ferocious concentration and fanatical execution is what you need to finish strong.
Wow, that was a lot of syllables. Say that again.
Ferocious concentration and
Yep.
fanatical execution is what you need to
that's
finish
good.
strong.
I don't like the word concentration, but I like the word focus.
Yeah.
So like
Ferocious
focus
focus.
and execution.
Ferocious focus.
For, yeah, no. I don't, yeah. Yeah, so I think that's it, right? Like that, pick, again, because you have no time, even though you have a whole lot of time, we're not going to go out and pick 10 things. Pick one
Right.
thing and just
Finish
execute
it.
on it. It could be health, it could be diet, it could be money, it could be projects in the business, but pick one thing and just go at it. So I was thinking about this yesterday. I may have seen something on the internet, maybe Instagram or something, but we're going to this conference tomorrow. We leave tomorrow, yeah.
Yep.
And there will be, I think it's 150 other businesses there,
Okay.
right? And usually when I go to a conference, like I make it a goal to really go out and meet 2 or 3 people. And usually I'll like see who's going and
Yeah.
decide in advance, like, oh, I got to meet this person, right? So I try and keep it focused instead of, oh, I got to meet everybody, right? I think that's just a good networking practice. But we are going to meet a whole bunch of people,
Yeah.
right? Because we've got happy hour Thursday, breakfast, lunch, and dinner Friday. I think breakfast, lunch, and dinner Saturday. So you got 7 meals and a happy hour and who knows what other events. And if you sat at a different table
Oh, each time.
and you get everybody's business card, right? Could you meet half that audience?
Mm-hmm.
Probably, right? I mean, I think a lot of these events, they set you up at the round table with 8 or 10 or 12 seats at it. And if you got a business card from every other person there, right? Imagine writing one handwritten note per day between now and the end of the year. What would that do for your networking, for your relationships, for your business, for your life, right? And that's just an
Yeah.
example. I threw that out there.
And
So
it's
you,
a personal. We're saying handwrite it. Don't go in. And
yeah. Oh, well, yeah. You want to send a text or an email?
Yeah.
Fine, go for it. But we're talking about separation season. We're talking about
Yeah.
doing things differently than other people.
separating yourself.
A handwritten
from the norm.
note. A handwritten note will take you 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, by the time you get to the 10th one, you'll be down to 2 minutes because you're in the groove, right?
Yeah.
And you got your envelopes and your stamps and your system. 2 minutes a day, every day for 90 days to write a handwritten note to somebody. Imagine what that would do for your sales, for your business, for your network,
Yeah.
right? Some people may throw it out. I forgot to tell you.
What?
Speaking of handwritten notes, so you know I'm a big Andy Frisella and
Yes.
Emily Frisella fan.
Yes.
Do you remember, I don't know, a month or 2 ago, one of their ducks got killed by a
Yes.
fox?
Yes.
So I sent
you
him a
were
package.
going to send a duck. Yeah.
Emily sent me a message last night.
Oh.
So she was like, oh my God, thank you so much. But we were moving the warehouse. We lost track of our mail. We literally just opened it like yesterday.
Nice.
Thank you so much for that. So, here's a person that is kind of hard to get access to, kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
But I sent him a package. I'm pretty sure I sent it in a pink box too, which if you're sending something to somebody like Andy Frisella and it's in a pink box, they're going to open it just
Yeah.
out of morbid curiosity. But I sent a really nice note. I sent a copy of my book and I sent a rubber duck because we
Yes.
have
Yep.
some rubber ducks, right? But that's the idea. That was one time with one person, and I told Chrissy when I sent that because she doesn't yet understand my infatuation with mailing people things.
Yeah.
I told Chrissy that at some point in the future I will be at an event or on a stage with Andy Frisella, and it's
you're
because
gonna
it started with that moment where I sent him that thing
Yep.
that he's going to remember,
Yep.
right? That was one. I could do that every day for the next 90 days, and not just with people I haven't met or
Right.
people I want to know. It could be with the network I already have. So that's a great example of one thing that you could do every day during separation season to completely dominate. So that's I'm kind of going out of order here, but that's a really good example of streaking, right? Like you're creating a streak,
a successful streak.
Yeah, you're creating a streak. You're building a new habit, and
Yeah.
if you go in and mark it off the calendar every single day. So I love what is it? It's called a habit chain or something. Like, don't break the chain
Right.
is the whole idea. So if you do the thing every day. So like Royce, for example, who's going to be 14 in a couple weeks, we had him start walking a mile a day a while ago. And then we eventually bumped it up to 2 miles. So every single day he walks 2 miles.
Yeah.
There have been, over the period of time, I won't share the number yet, but over the period of time, there's probably been a handful of days where he hasn't done it. Like, as an example, the day that we woke up at 4 a.m. to get on an airplane and we were flying all day, didn't get it done, right? But he would double up the next day,
Yeah.
right? So he went on like a 4-mile walk in Paris.
There's no better place to go.
Yeah, it was pretty good. He's over a 600-day streak right now.
That's crazy.
600 days. It'll be 2 years in January.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and at 13, 14 years old.
I know adults that I don't do that.
Yeah, but so imagine at 13 or 14 years old, the habit that he's building, the persistence that because it's hard, right? When last weekend we went to Bristol for the NASCAR race, and I picked him up from school and we immediately started driving. We didn't get there till 1 a.m. So we had to, he usually walks at night, but we adjusted his schedule. He did the walk before school, right?
Nice.
But when he woke up, or it was the night before we left, it was Thursday night, and I said, hey, what are you going to do about your walk? And he goes, oh, I'm just going to get up at 5:45 instead of 6:30, and I'm just going to get it done. So he was already planning and thinking about this. Teenager is planning ahead and thinking about how he's going to get this in.
I don't think kids give themselves the number of excuses that adults do. I don't think it's in them yet to.
Yeah, that's funny. He doesn't even think about quitting.
Yeah, like kids don't. They're just like, I'm doing it.
Yeah, I think if somebody asked him, well, how long are you going to do this? He wouldn't have an answer for it. No. Right. Whereas
we'd be like, day 30.
As
I'm
adults,
done.
As adults, we would already we would bring our excuses and say, well, it's going to be on this day because so and so is getting married, or it's going to be on this day because I'm going on a trip. Like we pre-frame our ability to fail.
Yeah.
Whereas he's 600 days.
That's crazy.
I've never done anything for that.
I've never done breathe, but I.
And even that's been a challenge, right? So. All right, so that's a good example of I don't know, habit stacking or breaking the chain or streaking, right? So that's one example of something that you can do during separation season. But I wanted to talk about another example of like getting a project done, right? So a lot of our goals in our business, we've got our 10-year vision and our 3 or 5 year picture, and then we have our plan for the next year. But we break that 1 year plan down into 90-day rocks or 90-day projects, right? So we're going to be a little late on this. Jackie and I are sitting down, I think, on October 6th to set the fourth quarter goals, but that's okay. We're still working on our third quarter goals. So building out a project, and we talked about this on the last episode when we talked about time management. Of you got 12 weeks. Yep. Is it 12 weeks? Let's look at my calendar. So yeah, it's 12 weeks. Next week is week 40. I have that. There's a setting in Google Calendar that you can set that up. So you got 12 weeks between now and the end of the year. What could you get done if you picked one thing? What could you get done that if you executed every single week and built towards that project, what could you do? Yeah. Right? So like I am actually behind pace on getting my pilot's license. So I am making it an effort to do at least one module every single day on that. But it's not going to get me there fast enough. Right. So I will probably build out a plan, because that's a really important goal for me. I'll probably build out a plan to get, a certain number of practice tests done, or spend a certain amount of time, because I'm not spending enough time right now, or come up with a list of the areas where I'm weakest, where I need to study more and really emphasize that. But can we talk about the Christmas goals?
Yeah, because I was going to bring that up, because you were saying as a leader, it's your job to have the vision and the momentum. And to bring that. Well, it's hard to get people on your team to have that same momentum, to join in with the momentum, and to be able to finish the year the same way. So I think the past 3 years, you've come up with, we do the 12 goals of Christmas. And it's to motivate the team to get projects done by the end of the year that maybe we typically, I mean, they're part of our jobs to get done, but it inspires us to have momentum to get them done to even.
So let me better define what that is. Because so if you've ever read or heard of the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Stephen Covey draws out these quadrants, and the 2 axes on the quadrants are important and urgent.
Yep.
And in our jobs, we tend to spend a lot of time on the urgent.
Yes.
Hopefully urgent and important, but sometimes urgent but not important.
Yep.
This is, and I'll get this wrong. The purpose of the 12 goals of Christmas is I think it's the quadrant 3 stuff. The important but not urgent.
Right.
I got to do it. I got to get around to it, but there's never a deadline. There's never
It's the stuff you're procrastinating.
Exactly, but you have to get it done.
Right.
So that's where we come up with the 12 goals of Christmas are, what are the things that we have to get done? We know we have to get them done, but we never carve out the time to do it because we're busy. There's emails
They're
and
not
messages
on our
and
priority
clients.
list.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. So we came up with things like gas calls and making sure that we got those, which if people don't know, it's
care about your clients.
Yeah.
Yep.
What was another one? We did Facebook and Google ads running, making sure that that was one year we did that.
Gosh, that was forever ago.
Yeah. Document implementation. That was a good one.
That's actually, we're going to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
Checklists. Yep.
We had, at one time, 2 years ago, I think it was either 2 or 3 years ago, we were doing our PSPs.
Yep.
So we had completing those, and you had to spend so many hours a week. So we broke it up into, we gave the goal. So for those, you had to spend, I think it was 2 hours a week on those.
So for people who don't know, PSPs, that's policy, systems, and procedures. Yep. You also hear SOPs, but I mean, it's something as simple as a checklist or a way of doing things.
Sales had one. So we had so many fee agreements a week had to be sent. What was it? The team worked on Google reviews. So we had a couple team ones as bonus ones. If somebody, and that was a nice thing too. And then last year, the ones that we did more as a team. Because we had bigger goals for last year.
Yep.
So we had so many files getting through for the employee retention credit we had to get through. So we worked as a team on some of those goals. And that was nice because you had to hold each other accountable.
Yeah.
For getting that done.
So I think we for example had a whole bunch of filing that had to get done, right? Because it just piles up and piles up, and it's the stuff that you're probably never going to need, and you're going to throw it in a box, and after 7 years you can destroy the box, right? So that was a good example of one. It's important to do that, but
we had a whole room of files that we were digitizing. That was
that it? Yeah, that's right.
That was a.
So that's a great example of the firm is better now because we digitized all of our files. Or if we didn't make this a priority and we didn't,
the firm is better now from all of those. Yeah. That was the thing. Everybody got to pick the things that they were going to do, but they were things that improved the business. They were things that, again, projected you into the next year.
They build momentum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing to do if you are a business owner and you want to get we had a reward to do that. We got to have
a big reward.
Yeah. So, I mean, we were motivated to get it done. Yeah. We wanted to, and so if your teammate wasn't getting it done, you were like, how can I help?
So that worked out really well. Cause I find that just in general, I tend to be more goal motivated than other people. Like if I can cross the item off, that's good. But other people tend to struggle with that a little bit more than I do for whatever reason. So we gave, against my intuition, we gave some wiggle room on that and said, all right, if we've got, 10 people with 10 different goals, we'll throw in the 2 bonus goals that if someone misses the week, the rest of the team can step up and do something to catch up for that. So for us, it was just making phone calls to prior clients and checking in on them, or getting a review. I think if we got a Google review,
we had 2 bonus that the team was responsible.
Yeah. So if somebody got busy or forgot or distracted or just didn't get their thing done, somebody else could go out and get a Google review, and that would fill in for it. And I think we wanted 85% completion. So we had 12 goals for 12 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. 144 things that were important but not urgent that we got done. But then the reward was we closed the office for the week between Christmas and New Year's, which I didn't hate that.
Nobody hated that.
I mean, think about it. It cost me a lot of money, right? Yes. I mean, that a week of payroll, an extra week of payroll to pay people not to work is a good chunk of change. Yep. But it was an investment because so many of those things that we did then have put us in the position that we're in now. Like
Yes.
those are the little hinges that swing the big doors that
Yep.
we're working on now.
So, if you need to get your team motivated for separation season, think of a goal and think
it.
of, something to.
Yeah, or if your team is just full of killers that don't need, we spent like $350 making that poster to track that, right?
Poster was so much fun.
But we didn't have a team of killers back then.
No.
But if you've got the people that have the urgency that just want to dominate, it can be a little bit easier. But
Yep.
not everybody has that team.
Yep.
Or maybe you've only
It's
got
a good
part
way
of
to
it.
find out if you do. It's a good way to find out who's.
That's a great point. Yeah, when you
Honestly,
when you've got that person that is consistently not doing what they need to do,
That's
no matter what incentive
no matter
you're putting
what,
in front of them.
no matter what the reward is at the end.
But what's interesting is that kind of brings it front and center, because that, like, the person that is usually not carrying their weight on the team, the rest of the team knows it, but sometimes the boss or the manager may not be aware of it.
Right.
So, and nobody wants to bring it
Yeah.
up. So that usually.
So
can
that's a
bring it to the
good.
forefront.
We kept, like I said, we kept the posters, or we had a scoreboard and had to check in. Like, you had to report on if you hit your goal that week. So you really had to, in front of the whole team, like, you had to be accountable. So if you weren't, we all knew it.
Yeah. So, all right, separation season.
Yeah.
So we're streaming live on Talk Erie. We're streaming live on Facebook, and we're talking about separation season. We're talking about what you can do to avoid that dead zone during the holidays,
Yeah.
right? We're entering into the fourth quarter. Fourth quarter starts next week, and a lot of people are going to be coasting, and that is a time that you can separate yourselves from the pack. And I mean,
I was
Yeah, go
looking, because it was hard, because a lot of the thing, I was looking up stuff for this show, and a lot of the stuff that you read is everybody saying, again, take a break. It's time to rest. Appreciate the goals you did complete, even if you didn't hit them all. It was a lot of, again, giving yourself grace for not pushing yourself hard. I mean, that's
losers.
what's a lot of this
those
stuff-
people are
that-
losing.
well,
I guarantee those
right.
people are losing.
But that's the message that was being put out there, even like online. That's what
Yeah.
was being like, hey, like, it's
Well, it's-
okay to not.
Most of the information out there on the internet is going to make people soft.
Yes.
That's not why this show exists.
Right. So
yeah.
it was too extreme. Like, it was. So I'm looking further, and so it was either. I felt like it was people are in two extremes. Either they have procrastinated the entire year, really, because they've just taken it easy the entire year. So now it's the end of the year, and they are rushed, and they are panicked, and they are trying to get things done, but doing it completely the wrong way. Or again, it's I'm going to take a break. I can just coast. I don't have to worry about it. But there was no, like, this is what you should be doing throughout the year.
All right, then let's talk about that right now.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that right now. If you procrastinated all year.
Yeah, which
right?
people do.
Totally. Which, give yourself grace for that. But the solution is not to continue coasting.
Right.
Like, are you kidding me?
Don't even give yourself grace for that. I keep hearing these excuses on some of the phone calls I do with different people that own businesses, and they're like, it's been slow, so I haven't really done much this year. I'm going to be behind in revenue because I had this, and this, so I'm going to pick it up and it was like excuse of why their year sucked.
Yeah, because they're focused on all these external things, right? I mean, even big picture, there's a lot of economic uncertainty, although rates just dropped a little bit. There's a war, there's an election.
As an excuse, though. Like, I feel like people
yes.
are telling themselves that to be just coast through the year.
Yeah, they're focusing on the wrong thing. They're focusing on what they can't control.
Yeah.
The purpose of the episode on separation season is you focus on what you can control. And what you can control is your effort and your execution and your focus. That is all within my control.
Yeah.
But if I don't do those things, if I don't execute, if I don't focus, if I don't do what I said I'm going to do, then I've got to find an excuse somewhere else.
Right.
And that's not acceptable to me.
Yep.
You control what you can control, and I guarantee if you do that, you will be successful. I guarantee that.
Yeah.
Now, that's not to say things will work out perfectly, and that's not to say that you're going to get exactly what you want when you want it.
Right.
But what we're trying to do is get you some short-term wins, so you build a little bit of a muscle. You get used to winning. You get used to dominating the day. I started this, I got back into it really hard a couple weeks ago with the power list. And I actually went back yesterday because I was thinking about what I got done last week, and I looked at my power list from last week, and there is only one task I didn't finish. I was setting 3 to 6 tasks a day every day last week, and there's one thing I didn't get done. What was it? So Google removed our listing for Pennywise Tax Strategies, and frankly, I could have crossed it off the list because I did everything I needed to do.
Yeah.
But it didn't get restored until yesterday. Yeah. So again, I controlled what I could control.
Right.
I had to file the appeal. I had to send in the video. I had to send in all sorts of crazy documentation. Google's a freaking monopoly. But I mean, it's like a Russian spy novel trying to deal with getting an account restored when, like, hey, I own the building. I've been here, years and years and years, right. And we got to take it down for some reason. So I did what I needed to do. This is a great example. I did exactly what I needed to do, and I was kind of stressed because I'm not sure if our reviews will get restored as part of the account being restored.
Oh,
they may pop up. They weren't up yesterday, but it said it may take up to 5 days. So we may have lost our reviews that we had for Pennywise.
Darn.
Yeah, but I did what I needed to do.
Yeah.
I took all the steps. I filed the appeal, and I did everything. I could have crossed it off my list, but instead I had the outcome goal on there. It took longer than I wanted. I started this project, I think it was last Monday, and it took 8 days. 8 days to get the thing restored, right? But the rest of the week, I killed it.
Right.
Like, I got so much done last week to move this business forward that I don't feel bad. I don't have imposter syndrome like so many people do.
Right.
I did exactly what I said I needed to do in order to be successful. I felt great about it. And then I left early on Friday because I won the week. And then I went to a NASCAR race with Royce, right? Like it felt great. And so the first example you gave is if you procrastinate all year and now you're hustling and you're overwhelmed.
Yes.
I'll tell you how to fix that overwhelm. Do less, right? Because what you're trying to do is squeeze 12 months worth of effort into 3 months. That's not going to work. And you're going to be overwhelmed and you're going to freeze.
Right.
Pick the most important thing, singular.
Yeah.
Or maybe 2. But come up with the one thing that like, if you could only get one thing done between now and the end of the year, but you knew that would make you feel successful, pick that thing, make the plan, and work the plan. That's it. Don't coast.
Yeah.
Don't give up.
Just forget it.
But also don't try and do 12 months worth of work in 3 months, because that's going to be a recipe for disaster.
Yep.
So that helps the overwhelm thing. And then you said the other group of people just, well, I coasted all year, so I might as well continue coasting.
Right. Just
Can you just say that out loud to yourself and listen to how you sound? Like, do you really need me to walk you through that? Catch yourself saying that. It's like, well,
Well, they're saying, what's another 90 days? I'll just start.
It's another 90 days.
Right.
It's another 90 days. And, I ate like garbage all weekend. So when I show up on Monday, I might as well keep eating like garbage. No.
That's what I tell myself.
See, you're that person.
No.
Stop reading the internet. Start listening to this show more often.
No, but
Now you're joking.
But, well, I know. I don't know what happened. No, but I really think that's the mindset people get into is, well, everything's fine. Because I've heard it. I've heard it on the phone. Well, it's fine. I'm just going to pick it back up next year. And the reality is, are they really going to pick it up next year? Because you just keep telling yourself.
Yeah, it's another day, another week, another month, another quarter, another year where you're dealing with the same crap. If you know who those people are, those are the people. 2025 is going to be my year.
Yeah.
No, it's not, loser. Because you're not changing
resolution.
anything. You're not doing anything different.
Yeah.
If 2025 is going to be your year, start right now. September 25th. Start right now.
Yep.
Then 2025 will be your year. And guess what? So will 2026. And so will 2027.
Because then you get in the habit of doing it.
Yeah.
Well, you see the results from it. And we are results driven. So
we are. That was the word of the year. I should start thinking of our word of the year for 2026. 2025.
2025.
Well, both. Yeah.
Yeah.
Might be momentum. That'd be a good word.
Oh, that's a good one.
All right, so let's talk about that coasting piece, because the whole idea here. All right, so I got a new book coming out, and I can't disclose too much yet. Yeah, I told you about this, didn't I?
You hadn't even started it. I didn't think.
No, it's it's.
I know you were thinking about
hello,
it.
I crushed my power list last week. This isn't anything new for me, but so. But they were talking, one of the topics that I'm co-authoring this book, and one of the topics that we were working on was like, what advice do you have? And like, after you get through that hustle and grind stage of the early stages of business, like, you have to work through that But once you get to that point and you're established a little bit and you got, some customers and some money coming in the door, you can get to the point where you look at what everyone else is doing and you do the opposite.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the recipe, right? You want to be average, do what everybody else is doing, which is the average. But if you want to be exceptional, take a look at what everybody else is doing and do the opposite. So I look at the people that are coasting in the fourth quarter, that are taking it easy in November and cruising through December, and half the month is hungover and full of cheese, and I'm not that. Like, I'm going out and executing. But that's what puts us in the position that we are now.
Yeah.
I am reaping the rewards right now of what I did 12 months ago.
Yeah.
Now, I'm also suffering the consequences right now of things that I tolerated 12 months ago, which is another super important lesson here.
Let's talk about that.
No, I don't want to.
Well, it's don't wait to make decisions, right? Because that's part of it. That's part of the momentum and setting yourself up and putting yourself in a position for success in future years is not waiting to make decisions.
Yeah. Can I say something that's going to get me sued?
Oh, great.
No, this is funny. So actually, so we're going to this seminar this weekend, right? You're coming with us, and the owner of the business who's hosting the seminar just got some new trademarks, and so I'm going to infringe on one of his trademarks. He says the speed of growth is tied to the speed of implementation. Like, how quickly you get things done directly correlates to how quickly you grow and how quickly you get the results, right? It seems kind of obvious, but he was able to get a trademark on it, and I'm now infringing. Sorry, Luis.
Yes.
But I think that's the point, is like, you want to wait another 90 days, you're delaying your success by another 90 days. You're delaying your happiness. I don't know if I want to say happiness, but you're delaying those results another 90 days. Yeah. You may be delaying them indefinitely if you don't start now. So let's talk about that a little bit, of what, other than just you being soft, what is allowing you to coast right now, right?
Yeah.
So I would start with, and this is, we kind of let off with this at the beginning of the show, getting really clear on what it is that you want.
Yeah, and I feel like that's always the biggest thing that stops most people from a lot of the things we talk about every week is people being clear about what they want. Yep.
So Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill uses the phrase, your burning desire. Like, what is it that you really want? And I think, again, we've got 6 days until the fourth quarter starts. You've got time to do this. Like, if you're in Erie, go down to Presque Isle, sit on the beach and stare at the lake. If you're somewhere else, do whatever you need to do. But like, really taking that time to sit and picture it and think about it. So I'm working on this right now. Like, I'm thinking about what this business looks like when we have 10 people in the tax strategist role, right? That's big. That's big. three to four times where we are right now. So, but I'm really picturing, like, what does my day-to-day look like? What am I doing? What's Jackie doing? Right?
She's happy.
Because she is leading.
Yes.
She is managing. She's working on big picture stuff. She's strategizing, but she's not constrained to client meeting after client meeting after client meeting, right? We're putting people in those roles who really enjoy that stuff and who are good at that stuff, who can then come back to her with ideas, right? Yep. And I'm thinking about the speaking engagements that I'm doing, the marketing campaigns that we're running, the leadership that I get to do and have in place. At that point, I'd probably start accepting some more coaching clients, right? Yep. Because right now I feel like I'm doing a lot of coaching inside the business, which actually I'm wrapping up a couple of engagements right now. So I did post on Facebook. I want to open up 2 spots for the end of the year to work with people one-on-one.
Time.
Well, that's kind of the idea.
Let's crush the end of the year.
Yeah, you could get some help getting into 2025 with some momentum, and that, like, if you're not clear on the project, I help people set out that project. Or the goal.
Clear, on your vision for the upcoming year.
Yeah. Coaching or not, like, this is a good time of the year to not just invest the time in the thing that you want to accomplish, but it could be investing the money too, right? If there's the thing that you've been holding off on that you know is going to transform your business, maybe now's the time to do it. right? Like what else are we waiting for? There's never going to be that perfect moment. So this could be, get towards the end of the year, write the big check for something, get the tax deduction. But that could be the thing that really propels you into 2025. So let's get back to that burning desire, that goal, or that picture. I don't think any of us, well, most of us, spend enough time just marinating in that, right? Of really thinking about how I'm going to feel and what my life is going to look like when this thing is done, right? And it doesn't need to be huge, right? It doesn't need to be, well, when I'm making $10 million. No, it could be, man, when I hire that next employee, or if I could carve out the time to do the marketing campaign and create the content that I know I need to do, then what would my life look like, right? Well, first of all, I'm going to feel... Actually, let's use that as an example. Let's use content creation as an example, because I think a lot of business owners out there think about additional content they want to create. Social media content, blog posts, emails that they want to write to their list, I don't know, TV commercial. But I think a lot of us have an inventory of content in our brains that we want to get out into the world, right? That's part of the reason that I forced myself to do it. I got an hour a week where I got to get this stuff out of my head and onto the airwaves and onto the internet. But let's use the content creation as an example, right? Where will you be 90 days from now? How will your life be different if you complete that project? So let's picture what it looks like. Well, I've taken the time to outline or script what I want to say. I've sat down in front of a camera and recorded it. I've edited it or had someone else edit it for me. I've got it posted on the platforms or sent out in the emails, or I'm running the paid ads. And I feel good because my voice is out there. And I'm marketing my services, and there's a chance that it actually helps grow my business. Or I at least learn what isn't working and I can tweak it for next time. And I feel lighter because there's this thing that's been on my mind, like weighing on me, that I know I have to get done. And wow, like I'm just picturing what it would be like to have that done. I feel good, right?
Well, now you have some motivation to do it.
All right, let's go the other way.
Okay.
So we've pictured the better future, right? Where am I 90 days if I don't get this done?
In the exact same spot you're at right now.
No, even worse, because I just lost 90 days of my life. I'm not in the same position. I am worse off. And that's 90 more days where this has been weighing on me and stressing me out. That's 90 more days where I'm trying to remember all of the things that I have to do instead of actually getting them done. It's 90 more days of distraction from what I really want to accomplish or what I really need to get done. And when I'm sitting at Thanksgiving dinner with my family, I'm thinking about this thing. When I'm ready to shut down my computer on December 23rd and take a few days off for Christmas, I'm thinking about this thing. And I'm disappointed in myself, and I'm stressed out.
And you're thinking, had I just
just
done this 90 days ago?
Yes. So that is the ghost of Christmas future and the ghost of Christmas past, right? I mean, that you laugh, but this is part of our sales conversation too. What happens if you don't hire us? Well, I'm in the same position. No, you're not. You're worse off because your tax bill is higher. You just lost another 90 days, and you're never going to get that money back, right?
I had somebody say, well, I haven't forgot about you. I'm going to make sure I contact you by the end of the year. Great.
Too
Except
late.
by the end of the year, by the way, you're in a worse position. So I think a lot of people, again, it's that I'll take care of it, because I think you're still convincing yourself that you're going to do it. So you're allowing yourself not to be disappointing yourself by saying, oh, I'm going to do it, by saying I'm just going to do it later. But when the later comes, you don't do it.
You remain interested in doing it, but you don't actually commit to doing it. And again,
that's how I am with my diet.
It's funny.
Every Sunday, I'm like, Monday.
So
I'm going to start.
It's kind of funny because I've been spending more time downstairs in our office, and the candy jar. I didn't realize how much candy we go through. So I put out a box of vitamins,
which is so much better. I don't feel bad. I take vitamins and candy. At the same time.
You know what? That's okay. I'm gonna put probably some fruit out there eventually, and we'll wean ourselves off of the candy. But oh my gosh, I didn't realize how much candy you guys went through. And I'm down there more, so I'm eating it too. But I got plenty of vitamins in me.
Yeah.
How many, it's a first form pack of vitamins. How many
There's
vitamins are in
so
there?
many.
There's
So
like,
I
it's
made
gotta
the
be 10.
mistake of just popping them all in.
Oh, no.
I
No, this is like 4 separate
Yeah.
gulps and sips of
Yeah.
water to finish these
Yes.
vitamins. But hey, if you're eating Milky Ways and Twix bars all day,
feel so much better.
and Chrissy got gummy bears and like different gummy, like don't do that to me. That was part of the reason I was late this morning. I had to do an extra hard workout because I've just been off because of all the garbage. Ugh. All right, I'm
the
gonna go back and
chocolate.
eat some more vitamins. But that's a good example. I did this last year, not during necessarily the beginning of separation season, but I decided to start 75 hard. I think it was right after my birthday.
Yep.
Which means I had to do it through Christmas,
Yeah.
New Year's, Valentine's Day, the college football national championship in, was it Austin, that Royce and I went to? Not at that point.
You picked a really
not that I
bad
knew.
time.
But it was also the best time.
Yeah.
Because this year I got the app that tracks it all. Like I'm in really great shape and I've maintained that all year. And it hasn't been the big spikes up and down that it usually, these 20-pound swings that I can
Yes.
go through,
Yep.
right? The 10% of your body weight that'll fluctuate one way or another, or maybe it's 5% one way or the other. But I haven't had that this year because I came in with so much momentum. So I think, so again, I committed to that, right? I said, I'm doing 75 days and I'm starting right now, right? But I think getting that really clear picture of where you can be and then getting really aware of how you're going to feel if you don't do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Because that ghost of Christmas future, a lot of people don't think about it. They just think, oh, I'm going to be in the same position. Yeah. No, you are not. No, you are not. You're going to be worse off
behind
because the time marches on and you are binging Netflix.
I feel like you're talking to me.
I know my audience, right? Yeah. I forgot we're live to tens of people right now. Yeah. All right. So let's talk about. All right. So we got the picture in mind, right?
Yes.
We got that burning desire. We've gotten really clear of just like visualizing this thing of what my life is going to look like if I do what I want to do, then what it's going to look like if I don't do it. Then you come up with the plan, right? Then you write down. It could be the streak. I'm going to write 3 letters a day. I'm going to write 1 blog post a day. I'm going to whatever, right? Or it could be, well, I want to improve or document our business's recruiting and onboarding system. So every week I'm going to build the next piece of it, right? So in week 1, I'm going to make sure that I've got all of our job ads organized and in a folder with current versions. In week 2, I'm going to make sure that I've got all of our interview questions for the various roles saved in one folder. In week 3, I'm going to make sure that the template that we use for our onboarding schedule is still relevant and contains everything that we need to train on. And there's some old residue in there of like, we have on our training agenda, like training on software that we no longer use. So in week 3, I'm going to work on that. And in week 4, I'm going to go and find the recordings of different trainings that I did and get them all consolidated in one place, right? So I'm building out this plan, and then week by week, I can go through that.
And what you're saying is important because I think when people come up with a goal or what it is that they want to do, they give themselves an unrealistic timeline to complete it. Like this, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do it in the next 3 days. And then I'm crossing off my list and I'm moving to the next thing. And in reality, you're setting yourself up for failure because you can't. It's okay to set and to separate the thing that you want to do into certain, talked about this in Notion, like certain tasks to complete each one, right?
Yep.
It's okay to separate that out and plan out for something instead of
you could do it either way.
That urgent panic of I got to get it done.
You could think about this. You could that week of Thanksgiving, right? So I think my kids have school on Wednesday. So we've got work on Monday, Tuesday, and then maybe a half day Wednesday, right? That's 2.5 days. What if instead of just coasting through that week, I picked one thing and did nothing but that one thing?
Yeah.
I shut my computer. I shut off my phone. I don't take any messages, and I sacrifice everything else just to do the thing, whatever that thing is, right? That's one option.
Right.
The other option is spread it out over a reasonable period of time where you allow life to happen and you allow other things to get done, but you still commit to getting all of those things
Right.
done. That's the other alternative. But I think we try to do a little bit of both, where
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I'm just going to get this whole thing done, and then some other shiny object or some other distraction comes up, and we go and focus on that for a little bit, and then we beat ourselves up because we lost sight of the thing that we said
Yes.
that we were going to do. So we're not doing a really great job of actually making the thing
Right.
a priority. So yeah, I think that's important too, because Jackie bought this. I think it was a birthday present a few years ago. It was a gift of some sort, but it's a desktop lamp, and it has one of those Edison bulbs in it. You know, the ones where you can like see the filament in it, and they
Yes.
look kind of cool, kind of artsy. So she bought me that because I got really into Thomas Edison for a little while, and the whole idea of he says it took him 1,000 times to create a light bulb.
Yep.
Right, 1,000 times. He has some quote about it, like, it wasn't that I failed 1,000 times, it's that I found 1,000 ways that didn't work,
Right.
and then on the 1,001 I made it happen. So I really like having that light on my desk, because it's a good reminder of, you know, I said I was going to get this thing done Tuesday. It's now Wednesday and I didn't get it done. Well, you know what? I'll get it done today, or I'll get it done by the end of the week, or I'll allow myself to catch back up with it. It's like Royce missing one of his walks. He'll
Right.
double down the next day
Yeah.
to keep the mileage where it needs to be, even though technically the streak was broken. Whereas I think a lot of other people would miss that day and say,
And just-
well, I missed one day, I can miss another one, right? And we beat ourselves up over that. So I think if you've got the clear vision, the burning desire, and I think if you map out the plan to get it done, then it comes down to a matter of persistence and executing and actually
Yes.
finishing it, right? So let's say your goal was to write one handwritten note per day from October 1st through December 31st, right? Call it 90 days. If you miss a day, what are you going to do? Well, maybe you just skip it and you do one the next day and you get back on the streak. You've still sent 89 letters over 90 days. This is pretty darn good. Or maybe the next day you write 2 and you get your 90 days.
Yeah.
You get your 90 letters done in 90 days, as an example. So, but I think that's the point, is don't allow yourself to coast because you missed one. Like, get back on the horse and let's get to it.
Yep. And I think if you go back and you listen to a lot of the topics that we talked about each week, they bring you right up into this point where
Yeah.
now it's a lot, the different things you can do, from the goal setting to the planning to the habit to the, like, I would say go back, listen to somebody and prepare yourself. What day did you say? It was October 1st.
Yeah.
To start, take time and think about what it is that you want so that you can build your momentum
Yep.
to.
You know, another good thing to do this time of the year, if you're not doing it yet, again, starting in October, we do an 18-month budget, and we update it quarterly. But this time of the year, when we're coming into January 1st, we completely blow it up and start over,
Yep.
right? So working on the budget, working on the business plan, which, we do a ton of business planning type, or the hiring plan or the marketing plan. Like, this is a great time of the year to do that.
Yeah.
And part of the reason is it's because other people have slowed down and
Yeah.
other people are doing less, which means there's going to be less demands on my time.
Yeah.
Like, if our clients are coasting, which you shouldn't be, but if our clients are coasting, or our vendors are coasting, and there's just fewer distractions, that's a great time for me to get some space and go and work on stuff,
Yeah.
and do some planning and things like that. So I think that's a really great idea. But I'm going to end it with this, as we're getting close to the end of the show here. Where do you want to be 12 months from now? October 1st, 2025. And some people can go out farther than that, but I mean, at least most people can visualize their lives a year from now. It's a short enough time frame that you can, like, make it real in your mind. And then let's work backwards of where can we be 90 days from now in order to get there, right? And then work the plan, start executing on that plan, and just get it done. Joel flashed the sign that we only had a minute left, and I lost all of my momentum with that. And it was see, this is what
Way
I
to
get
go,
for not.
Joel.
This is what I get for not being focused. But you can start planning your 2025 now. We're heading into the fourth quarter. You can start planning 2025 now. The kids' school calendars are out. You know their last day of school.
Yes,
you know spring
everything.
break, right?
Yep.
You may not be able to nail the calendar for next September because who knows what day they're going back, but you've got a good 8 months that you can plan out right now and get on the calendar and see where your life is. So don't delay on that. Separation season. Let's get into it. I believe in you.